Hello, good day viewers. In this tutorial we are going to see the inelastic collision. In elastic collision, I explained that momentum is conserved but kinetic energy also conserved. But in inelastic collision, momentum only conserved but kinetic energy did not conserved. So how can we know that and how can we understand that? So suppose we are given a question, a 10 kilogram blocks moves. Let's say a 10 kilogram moves east at 15 meter per second, collides, it moves at 15 meter per second, it collides with what? With this 5 kg. At rest, the two blocks stick together. So I have to tell you that whenever two things are stitched together, so that is inelastic. So at the end they now stick together. This is 10 kg and this is what? 5 kg. So this should now become 15 kg and this should now be what? 10 kg and this is what? 5 kg. So it moves east. 10 block moving east at what? Moving east at this 15 meter per second to collide with this block at the rest. The two blocks are still together. What is the final? So you all know that for the momentum conserved in elastic and inelastic, m1v1 plus m2b2, it is equals to m1b1 prime plus m2b2 prime. But you have to take note that this and this are the same. So I can say, let's call it as b final. This is the same thing as m1 plus what? Plus m2, because they are stitched together. So since they stitch together, they are the same. That is inelastic. So m1 v1 plus what? Plus m2 b2. So what is m1? Let's figure out the datas. We all know that m1, which is 10 kg, and m2, which is 5 kg. So you have to take, let's say that we have 15 meter per second here. So we are going to find the velocity, the final velocity here. So we have v1 as 15 meter per second, and therefore b2, which is 0. At rest, block at rest, which is 0. So therefore m1, which is 10 multiplied by the v1, which is what? Which is 15 plus what? Yes, it's 15 plus m2, which is 0. This should now be equals to the v final, which is m1, which is 10 plus the m2, which is 5. This should now be what? 15 final voltage. So if I say 10 multiplied by what? Is it 15? Yes, 10 multiplied by 15, it shall now give me what? 150. So I have to divide both sides by 15. 15 will cancel 15. So the final should now be equals to what? 150 divided by 15, which is 10 meter per second. So this is what? 10 meter per second. The what? The V final. So you have to take note that whenever the mass it is increasing, so therefore the velocity will increase. As you can see, from this 10 kilogram, it increased to what? 15. So therefore the mass increases, but the velocity from 15 meter per second, it decreased to what? To 10 meter per second. So let's take a look to the second question. The next question says that a 15-gram bullet is fired horizontally. Let's say this is a 15-gram bullet. Let's say it's fired horizontally. Let's say it is fired horizontally to this block. Let's say this is block 1.2 what? 1.2 kg, and it's hung vertically. So therefore, let's say it's hung vertically, string. The 1.2 kg block that hung, let's say it is hung by a vertical string as shown in this. So let's say this is what? Let's say this is the height. So the bullet remain embedded in what? In the block. So what is the final speed? but we have M1, V1 and what, M2. And don't forget with this formula, please, when you are dealing with inelastic, which says that M1 V1 plus what, plus M2 B2, which is equals to what, B final, which is what, M1 plus what, plus M2. So the next thing that I'm going to do here is that I have this in gram. I have to convert it to kilogram. To convert it to kilogram is the same thing as 0.15. So 0.015 multiplied by the V1, which is what, 350, and plus what, 0. So this should not, because M2, which is 1.2 multiplied by 0, the initial V2 should not be 0. So therefore VF, which is what, 0.015 plus 1 plus what, 1.2. So this should now be equals to what, should now be 1.215 what, V final. Divide both sides by 1.21. divide both sides. If I say 0.015 multiplied by 350, this should now become 5.25. This is the same thing as 1.215 B final. I multiply this by this, I get this. I multiply this by this and I get this. I say divide both sides by 1.2. This will cancel this. 1.215, sorry, 1.215. This will go with this all. At the end, the V final should now be equal to 5.25 divided by 1.215. So this should now be 4.321 what, meter per second. So this is what the final speed of the bullet and what, and the block. And should I solve this second question, or you are going to drop it in the comment section? But let me solve it. How high will the bullet block system rise? Let me clean this. But we already know that our final velocity is 4.321 meter per second. How high with the bullet block system? So we are going to use what? The conservation energy. But you have to know that kinetic energy will not work in this inelastic. But we all know that kinetic energy, it is equal to the potential energy, which is a half what? A half mb square, which is equals to what? mgh. So this will go with this. The mass will go with this. At the end, I will have half v square, which is equals to what? gh. Whereby the 1/2, which will be the value of v. The value of v, which is what? 4.32 squared. It is equals to 9.8 height. So if I said 4.32 1 squared, let me put 1. So this should now be what? Squared, and then I have to say divide by 2. So this should now be 9.336. It is equals to 9.8 height. So this divide both sides by 9.8, 9.8181. This will go with this. At the end, high is the same thing as divide by 9.81. So this height should now be 0.952 meter. So kinetic energy is not conserved in inelastic, but you can use the conservation of energy, which says that the kinetic energy, it is equals to what? The potential energy. So after relating this, the mass will cancel what? Mass. I have mb square and it is equals to mgh. So this will go with what? With this. So, and therefore you can use this relation, because if you recall the diagram that I drew, I put something like this, which is height. So therefore B, it says that we are going to find the height, and therefore the height, which is 0.952 meter. So this is the end of this inelastic. This is all I have for you. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks you for watching. Have a nice day.